Oh boy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're on another session of Leadership Talk, the 29th session of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. I have with me a friend and a brother, Neo Tahiti. And tonight we'll be looking at the topic Leadership and Men. Leadership and Men. It's such a privilege to be on tonight, and I'm sure that you're going to be listening and getting a lot of value all over the world. This is also going to be on podcast, on Apple Podcasts, as well as Spotify. You're welcome, sir. Nyota.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can you just tell us, introduce yourself? Who is Nyota Egbe, please?
Usually that's a tough question to answer. You would think that having done broadcasting for so years, it would be easy for one to introduce himself. Okay, Neota Igbe, full name Neota Obasa Igbe, a Nigerian born in the from the southern part of the country. I used to call myself an extrovert until I discovered that I'd rather stay in my room and lock my door and read a book. But I like people. I like to leave a smile on the face of the next man. Sometimes that's been taken for granted, but hey, you don't stop doing what you know you ought to do, even if you're being taken for granted. I like food. I like to cook food. I like to sew. I love acting. Yes, wow. But I've never been in a movie. I don't know, maybe there's a producer somewhere who's watching that can say, okay, let's try it out. But basically, I love God and I know he loves me. And I like to, as much as possible, let that love and grace be made manifest to as many as are willing or I think deserve to know about it and should have it.
Yeah.
So basically, that's me.
So you love to cook?
Yes.
Wow.
So whenever I get the opportunity, I do that.
My
children love it.
Wow. What's your favorite delicacy, please?
Nothing spectacular, just my local African dishes. Yam porridge. Okay. And there's a way I cook my okra soup that you can't have it like I do mine. Now everybody might say they have theirs, no problem. I love also cooking our dishes Edika Kong Afang, Atama. Yeah. So I love my African dishes.
Wow. Amazing. Now, how did you get into leadership?
I really don't know because I think I've always run away from anything that would put me in front of anybody. I usually would love to stay at the back. I like to work from behind the scenes. But I almost always have to find myself in the front, not because I want to, but because somebody says, hey, you, come and do this. And I know that things need to be done. I see the need and I step up to take care of the need. And sometimes it's not convenient. The truth is, okay, leadership is not convenient. Leadership is not convenient. But you see the need. You see the vacuum and you want to see that it is filled. So you just go for it and get it done. And as you do it, you're adding value and you're seeing people being blessed and people being changed and you're happier, So that's, I wouldn't say it was a deliberate step. So I read all the books on leadership and I positioned myself for leadership. I don't think that's it. I just found out that at every point in time, and honestly speaking, I always run away. You know already now, okay. I always run. But somehow, I always get pushed into that position. And I've come to understand that it's what God would have me do. So just go ahead and do it.
Wow. Amazing. I just want to celebrate you. I want to salute you. You are someone I admire so much. You're a person of value. Obviously, you're in the media, and some of us have been watching you for so many years. And although we didn't have that interaction until recent, but you have been providing that kind of leadership. Most recently, the program that usually have, I think somewhere in a beautiful, is it conservation center, resorts?
East Africa, the environment, Joe.
Yeah. You know, very beautiful setting.
That is most times at the Lufasi Park. Some in the Lekki Ekpe Expressway, or either there or the Nigeria Conservation Foundation around Chevron.
Okay.
So those are the two locations I use most times for this recording.
Awesome. Now, we're looking at leadership and men. Leadership and men. Men and leadership.
Is this something we can finish in one day? I don't think so.
We can't finish, we can't even finish it. Most women feel that, they're always talking about, most seminars are always about women. It's not usually focused on men. I want you to speak to this area of leadership. Men. It's very interesting. You can see that I'm laying a lot of emphasis on men. Now, I want you to speak. What's the relationship between leadership and men?
Okay, I know we're speaking to a general audience. It's not a Christian audience. It's not a religious audience. But permit me to just step back a bit. Not from the science perspective, but from the religious perspective of creation. God created the humans, right? And he made man in his image and his likeness. And then from him, he brought out the woman. Okay, so, but if you want to say how do we even begin to think about man as the leader? The male man, I usually do that to differentiate. There's a female man, okay? But the male man was created first and everything was placed in him. Borrowing from the scriptures, the Bible tells us that anything that Adam named, God just ticked it. In other words, Adam had to be downloading from God directly for him to be able to name, and God would say, good to go. So until Adam named it, it wasn't named. So when Adam named a monkey, it was a monkey. Adam did not name a monkey and God said, no, son, that's a crocodile. No, he called him a monkey and God said, good to go. That tells us one thing, that God placed in man the position to open up things, to determine how things work. Move that to one side. At the fall, after the scriptures tell us that the woman ate of the fruit that God said they shouldn't eat, nothing happened until Adam took that bite. And as soon as Adam took the bite, the fall happened. So imagine, my pastor was teaching one time and he asked us this question. He said, imagine if Adam did not eat of that fruit. The fall wouldn't have happened. Because when Eve ate the fruit, nothing. The Bible says she took it and gave her man, and he collected it and beat into it. So she had already eaten it. So if Adam had not eaten, the fall couldn't have happened, because in Adam was placed the headship. Yeah. In Adam was placed the leadership, the authority. Is it that the woman is not a leader? No, the woman is a leader. Please don't get it wrong. The woman is a leader. But the woman is made to be a helpmeet for the man. That's the scripture. I'm not the one that said it. But when you find a woman stepping up, is where the man has failed. And many times she would have tried to help and seen that she can't do that. She can't help, or the man is not giving her room to help. Then guess what? She steps in and takes control. But a wise man, I hope I'm not jumping the gun here.
Yeah.
A wise man steps back and begins to empower. You see, someone might ask the question, what about those women in leadership positions? What about the women like Ibukun Awoshika? I think I'm going too fast here. Women like Ibukun Awoshika. How women like the vice Okonjo-Iweala, like the vice president of the United States of America. Women like Hillary Clinton.
The president of Tanzania.
Of Tanzania, the new president of Tanzania. There was a president in Burundi, a female president. Yeah. There are women in leadership positions across the world. Guess what? If you go back and check, these women had men in their life that empowered them. Okay, so My pastor was traveling at one time and came up at the airport. He met Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, Ngozi
Yes.
Okonjo-Iweala, and her husband. And he wanted to go and say hello to the Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. And before he could get to her, her husband was there. He was the bodyguard. He was asking, yes, why do you want to see her? You know, asking him all the necessary questions, putting all the checks and all that, just so that he can gain access. My pastor answered all his questions. And it was when the husband was satisfied that he's okay, he answered the questions correctly, that he was given access to talk to Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Her husband was the bodyguard. But see this, for that woman to thrive so well, that means there's some level of peace in her home. There's some level of peace in her background. For many have heard of Joyce Meyer. I understand it's her husband that plans her itinerary. He plans her itinerary. Today I went to church. The church I attended, the pastor is a woman. Her husband sits down there. He's not the pastor. She is the pastor. But he does the service planning and all of that. He ensures he's empowering his wife, giving her room to express herself, opening up opportunities for his wife to express the gift in her. So it's not the man is built to be.
I know there's so much stuff, you know.
Sorry.
You're packing this massive. No, it's okay. I mean, you don't need to. You have not committed any offense. That's the reason why you're here. I mean, to add so much value, and you are speaking from experience as well. You know, this men go through so much. They tell you, men don't cry. You know, you need to be a man. You know, you're not supposed to show your vulnerable side. Can you speak to that?
Okay, so growing up, I don't know about you, Goke, but I didn't have any man come to tell me this is what a man is supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do as a man. This is how you should dress. Indeed, I learned about my beards and mustache. I learned about it in integrated science and biology in school. Nobody, when we learned about puberty, nobody taught me how to shave. Nobody taught me that I needed to wash my private area because at least when hair starts growing, nobody taught me I needed to shave my armpits. Nobody did that.
Wow.
But guess what? The young ladies, from the day the lady is born, the little girl is born, she's taught how to sit. She's reprimanded when she's not sitting well by everybody around her.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let's paint this picture. Okay, you and I are sitting in a park, and a young man walks in wearing sleeveless, this inner shirt that is sleeveless, and bomb shorts. He'll walk past, nobody will say anything to him. But a young lady walks through that same park, and everybody will be looking at her in two ways. There are those who are lusting after her, and there are those who are like, what kind of girl is this? Doesn't she have parents? Did she not look at her mirror before she left her home? See the two sides. But the young man walks through, nobody was like, he's a guy. He can take care of himself. And that is the disservice we do to our brothers. There's this service we do to our sons, a disservice we do to the men in our lives. Because we feel like, they can find their way. He's a man. But the woman is trained from the moment she's born. They say they are training her to be a wife. They're training her to take care of a man, to take care of her children. Hello? What about training the man to take care of his wife and his children? What about training the man to manage resources? What about training the man to find the resources, to work, to nurture the things around him? So over time, where the man he's born, he's allowed to grow. If you see a man that is trained, many times he's trained by the women, he's trained by his mother, or trained by his sisters, or trained by his teachers. But his father or his elder brothers, because they themselves were not taught. They were not taught. So we need to begin to step back a bit and begin to teach our men. So amongst the things that men are supposed to be taught, one, how to take care of yourself. Two, that your voice will crack at a certain time and go deeper. That you're going to grow beards, you're going to grow hair in certain places. How do you take care of them? That you're supposed to groom yourself. They are supposed how to treat a woman. They're supposed to be a gentleman. That you're supposed to nurture everything around you. Men are supposed to be taught that everything around them is given to them to nurture. Both men and women, and resources brought to you. You're meant to make them better. That's who you're created to be. Awesome. Okay, see, it was no joke, or it's no joke, that when a man and a woman come together, who determines the sex of the child?
A man.
Come on. The man determines. The X and Y chromosomes are in the male. So if the man releases the X chromosome, if he releases the Y chromosome, you see what happens. It is not anything. It was God ordained. That tells me that if the man does not take his place, society is a mess. And the woman is forced to find a way to step in and do things right. Wow. So you find many times women stepping into to handle certain things that they are not supposed to. If the men take their place, a woman can be the president of this country. But be sure that the man in her life is a man who will support and nurture her and ensure that there's nothing distracting her. That will be a man who is secure. That will be a man who is, that will be a man who is secure in his vulnerability. Because for you to nurture your wife to the point where she's ahead of you, she's leading an entire society or leading an organization, and you're just in the background, means you're secure in your vulnerability. It's okay to be vulnerable. A man is supposed to be taught that it's okay to cry. It's okay to shed tears. It's okay to say sorry. It's okay to open the door for a lady. It's okay to stand back and let somebody else go ahead of you. It's okay. It doesn't change who you are. It actually makes you a better person.
Wow. We have so much to unpack tonight. You know, I've been a man, and I'm still a man, you know, but I've gone through moments where I found it difficult to ask for help, you know, because it's expected that I should be a man. I mean, why is it difficult for men to ask for help?
It's that thing I was saying earlier about you're a man. You're a man. You because you're a man, you're not meant to cry. You're not like every other person. You're different. You need to be strong. I mean, everybody looks up to you. You cannot be anything other than strong. You know, that the fact that you have a broad chest and you have a deep voice, yes, you have to be a man. That's a lie. Please, it's a lie. That we have lied to ourselves, and we have allowed ourselves to be lied to, that it's not okay to cry. Hey, it is okay to cry. It's okay to shed tears. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to open up yourself. Now, hold on. Would you be hurt? Yes. But the fact that you're hurt doesn't mean that you should stop being yourself because you're hurt. Do you stop being you because you said sorry? No. Be you. Be free. Be yourself. Be vulnerable. Because your being vulnerable helps the people. Vulnerability helps the people around you understand that you're human. It helps the people connect with you. You see, when you're always okay, so let's pull back a little bit. There is no man that is not vulnerable. Every man is vulnerable. Some are vulnerable to different things. Now, you know, there are some men they call woman rapper. So they are vulnerable to anything in sketch.
Some people might on this platform all over the world, they are listening. They don't even know what woman rapper is. Can you just...
Okay, so let me explain what a woman rapper is. A woman rapper is that man who cannot help but respond to a woman. The moment he sees anything in skirts or anything with long hair or that has... I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm not objectifying any woman here, please. I'm very sorry, but I'm just trying to explain something. Any man who cannot help but respond to a woman is termed in the Nigerian parlance a woman rapper. But the truth is this: every man is a woman rapper. I may not respond to the fair ones. I may not respond to the dark ones. I may not respond to the Caucasians. I may respond to the very dark ones, the ones from East Africa, the very dark ones. But then Goke might be responding to the Caucasians. He doesn't respond to any other person but the Caucasians.
So true.
So at every point in time, every man is vulnerable to one kind of woman or the other because it was made so. God made it that way that everything would respond to its seed. Do this. If you place a man in a room, a test was done. I read about this test in Gary Oliver's book, Real Men Cry Too. Real Men Cry Too? I think so. Gary Oliver. Okay, so two people were placed. A man was placed in a room. It was a test that was done. Men were placed in a room, and they passed certain things. They were connected to certain measuring devices. They passed certain things in front of them, and the measuring devices were to check how they respond to the different things. So first of all, a flower was brought in. A flower. The gauge did not move. They brought in some other things. The gauge didn't move. They brought in a baby. The gauge shook a little bit. They brought in a car. The gauge moved. They brought in money. The gauge moved. They brought in a naked woman. Woo! The gauge got to the end for all the men. They took them out, brought in this women, brought in a woman, or brought in women, and they did the same thing. They brought a man in front of the man. Yeah, they did the same thing, but they swapped everything. The gauge moved at the sight of money, shook. Moved at the sight of flowers, hit the end at the sight of a baby.
Wow.
Remember, for the man, he did not shake for the baby.
Yeah.
Tells us one thing: everything responds to its seed. It might be. This is a life situation I've seen where a guy was in need and a child was in need. The lady went for the child, saved the child first, then came back to help the man. It's a natural thing. Guess what? You might be standing on the road and a guy driving by would stop to pick a lady. First of all, if he sees a woman with a child, many men will not stop for the woman with that child. But they see a delectable young lady standing beside her, they will stop for that young lady before they will stop for the woman with the child. It's a natural thing. So if we understand this, what do we do when we understand this kind of responsiveness, the way we were created? Nurture. Okay, I don't even know.
Go ahead.
Because we're created to respond to our seeds. You find out that the man who will not respond to you that has a need, a fellow man that has a need, will respond to a woman. And then, like I said earlier, in Nigeria, they'll call him a woman rapper. Does that make him any different from every other man? No. It's just that he has a weakness. He has, as we say here in Nigeria, he has a mumu button. And the woman that he responds to knows that mumu button. So this is how I painted the picture. I said every man is a woman rapper, but it is a woman that knows the type of material he is that ties him. So see this, there are different kinds of material. You have brocade, you have adire, that's African print materials. You have abada, you have khaki, you have cotton, you have silk, you have damask, there are all kinds of materials.
Yeah.
So you cannot use a silk material to tie a headscarf. But there are some people that know how to use a silk material to tie a headscarf. This is a jersey, right? You can't use this jersey to you can't use this jersey to do a pocket square, okay? But there are some people that know what to do to use this jersey. If you take this jersey and put it on a regular sewing machine, you may not be able to sew any stitches. But there's a special machine that is used to sew this, and it makes sense. So that thing about the one that understands the type of material he is will tie him. It's not every woman that knows how to tie gele. That's a big headscarf that we have in Nigeria, big headscarf. It's not every woman that knows how to tie gele. But see this, there are women who are experts at tying gele. But meanwhile, that same material that's used to tie that big headscarf can be used, or headwear, can be used to sew an outfit. There are some tailors that know how to use that material to sew. So the woman that understands the type of material the man is will use that man well. And all
Wow.
of us will be wondering, how? Why? I thought this man is a hard man. You see that man who's always very hard with a very mean face that doesn't smile.
Yeah.
There is someone he smiles to. Might be his wife, might be his daughter, might be his girlfriend, might be his mother. There is a woman that knows his mumu button that will just go there and beep, and the man is jumping all over the place. And you're wondering, what happened?
Wow. Amazing. We've been on with my brother, my friend Neo Tahiti. Is a media consultant and is also a media practitioner. He's a global player. I mean, he's fascinating. He's dropping so many nuggets tonight. He's also a certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer. I just want to appreciate quite a number of our John Maxwell coaches and speakers on this platform. Mary Ellen Nadi from Abuja. We have Olayiwole Odemi is from Jos Plateau. Have Kene Chuku Agaba also from is in Abuja. And your humble self and including myself, So this is not a Maxwell gathering, but we're just trying to add value at a time like this. We're trying to show up even at a time like this. And speaking to leadership and men, I just feel that a lot of gatherings is most for women, they gather women together. In fact, women just feel that, men are not spoken to. Is it true? Is this true?
Yes. Men are not spoken to. Okay, so many times growing up, we've gone for marriage seminars, and I've found out that many times 70% of the conversation in those relationship programs and seminars are directed at the women. 70%. The bulk of the conversation is directed at the women. But women have all kinds of mentorship groups. The women have how many days in a year to be celebrated? International Women's Day, Mother's, and even the Mother's Day and Mothering Sunday is twice in a year, from the Anglican Communion and from the Catholic Communion. So it's twice in a year. International Women's Day. There's only one day for the men. There's one day for International Men's Day. And at every point in time in society, women, as I told you something about a child, if you ask all those on the platforms, they could just put it out there. You see that maybe they should even put it in the chat room. Let's see. At every point in time.
What's the question? You want them to put?
No, at every point in time, let the women tell us. At what age were they being taught how to sit, how to behave, how to act, how to eat, how to talk? At what age? So you check this. If a lady is, say, 20 years old, for 20 years, that lady has been taught how to sit, how to dress, how to talk, how to behave, how to respond to certain things. If she is 50 years old, even as an elderly lady, her friends would always go, Matilda, come on, don't talk like that. Why? Because they have been taught, and they know how to hold themselves accountable. But see us, see us. We're men. So we're out there, we're running, we're doing things. We hardly ever hold ourselves accountable.
Wow.
See, for the ones who are yet to submit themselves to the leadership of Christ, see what happens. They go ahead, they misbehave, they come and talk about, hey, guess what? Well, I don't chop that side. Forgive my local going PJ. I don't chop that side. Guy, if you go there, go chop your own. It's what's done. It happens. It might not be everybody, but it happens. And the thing is this, we hardly ever hold ourselves as men accountable. Hey, what happened to that relationship you're in? Why would you even do that to your friend? Why would you? Are you okay? No, don't you understand that you need to nurture? Why are you beating down? Why are you? No, we hardly ever hold ourselves accountable. But these women hold themselves accountable from day one. The older ones to the younger ones, the younger ones to the older ones, they hold themselves accountable from day one. So I think it's about time men begin to deliberately speak to themselves, deliberately speak to their sons, deliberately. Now, I notice some guys are actually taking out time to talk to their sons, to spend time with their sons, to let their sons see them in action and begin to learn how to behave, how to handle certain things. It's a deliberate action.
I know. I just want to use myself as an example. I really never really had anybody speaking to me as much as I would have loved to. And I made some massive mistakes, but thank God for the grace of God, and I'm sure that there's some people, who were, who had similar backgrounds like myself, but they just drifted away, So I just want to speak to you to speak to that. So what are the consequences of a man not having mentors in his life?
Decay.
Wow.
The consequences of men not being trained or not having mentors in their lives: decay, carelessness. Man just grows up to whatever he knows, whatever he finds out there that he can take in. That's the one he knows. If men don't have examples ahead of them, what happens is a society is wasted.
Wow.
If men do not have good examples, if the examples that the men are seeing are wasted men, they end up being wasted unless they find a way around it. So I can say this because I actually talked with my other brother about it, and before I got married, I looked at my other ones and I prayed a prayer. I said, Lord, give me something better. I want something better. Down the line, my eldest brother comes to me to say, thank you for being an example to us. I was shocked. I mean, me, an example to my elders. How? And he says, no, you are an example to us. Thank you. But that for me was added responsibility, as in, you cannot drop this ball, man. Even if you wanted to drop the ball before, you can't drop this ball now, because even your elders are looking up to you. So behave yourself, and whatever scrum, as in whatever virus that might want to come in, you better throw it out, But so I looked and saw a difference. I looked at the scriptures and saw what a husband is supposed to be. Ephesians 5, verse 20, talked about husbands from verse 20 down. The portion that you talk about, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her, to present her to, I'm trying to paraphrase now, to make her clean by the washing of the water by the word. So the words he speaks to his wife, so that he can present her to himself.
Yeah.
I know he didn't say present her to God. Present her to himself, a bride without spot or wrinkle. So when I take care of my wife, I'm not presenting my wife to you. I'm not presenting my wife to the world. I'm presenting my wife to me first. If she is without spot or wrinkle, the world will appreciate her. Yeah. But if I cannot present my wife to me without spot or wrinkle, in other words, if I cannot cherish my wife, if I cannot love her, if I cannot appreciate her beauty, the world will not appreciate her. But I wasn't taught this. I read the Bible, saw that, and somehow I really can't say.
Yeah.
Decided that I wanted something different. And the truth is this, I'm still learning. I'm still looking for something better.
We're all still learning. It's it's a journey. I just want to say that all over the world, women are celebrated. I mean, we're all products of coming through mothers. They've been nurtured, raising us up. And I just want you to speak to, why is it that fathers are absent even in the nurturing of children? They leave it to the mothers, or men leave that role.
Goke, I said something earlier. I said they don't know any better. It is what they have seen, it is what they've been told, if they were told anything. It is what is the example that they've seen all their lives. So if you see there are a few men who are seeing good examples and their marriages are different. what they've seen is what they are exhibiting. If there are no good examples out there, fathers are absent because all they know, the examples they've seen is, you're a man, go out and find what your family will eat. Go out and look for the resources to take care of your family. You cannot be sitting down in the house. You're a man, go, go, go. You're a man, go, go. So he's going. He's going to find what his family will feed on. But see this thing. If he has a better example, and he sees a man who is there, he sees a man who is part of the upbringing of his children, if that's the example he has before him. So someone said, if you see a man who beats his wife, check. In his life, there was a man in his life he was looking up to that was beating the woman in his life. So many times the examples these men have seen. If there are no examples, a man who's not there feels like he's a man that takes care of the home. It's the woman's space to make the marriage work. Who told you? See, if you go back to creation, Scripture says the man is the head of the woman, as Christ is the head of the man. So if you go back to creation, again, until Adam bit into that fruit, the fall did not happen. So you need to understand this. It is not the woman's place to ensure the marriage works.
Wow.
It is you. It is you. Go back and do your work. There is work to be done. It might need you being vulnerable. You're too hard.
Wow.
You're too hard.
Now, I just want to use this to corroborate what you just said. You know, Barack Obama, I think it was last week, and he showed a picture of himself and his dad. I don't know whether he saw it on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it was, what did he say?
I saw the picture.
Okay, did you? Yeah. What can you what he said there? Do you want to just speak to it, or should I just?
It's like what I just said now, where he said my father was hardly around. He came in once in a while to visit, and he left. But
and the last time he saw his dad was when he was 10 years old.
So, but you see, he made a choice in growing up. Did he have a rough childhood? Yes, he did. There were ups and downs here and there, but he made a choice. I want to be a different person. I want to leave a mark. And he made that choice based on some of the people he came in contact with. Some of the people he came in contact with helped to shape him.
To model
Today he's a 2-term president of the United States of America. Talked about globally. Did he come from a poor background? Yes, he did. Who brought him up? His mother. But then he came across certain men that spoke into his life, and now he's a different person.
Wow.
You need to understand it. As a man, you may not have had anybody speak into your life, but you can decide that, you know what? Nobody spoke into my life. I will speak into somebody's life. I will make somebody else better than me. If nobody made me better, I will help somebody be better. So you just step back and begin to do something differently.
Well, this is where I want to jump in now. For someone like yourself, I mean, the people that were ahead of you were not shining their light as they ought to. And you were able to, thankfully, through the scriptures, gain some momentum and, But for those who are not even, scripturally aware, how can one even get men to mentor? Where can one go to? Is there a gathering where you can, or a mentorship group where you can get people to speak into you? Can you just speak into that, please?
Okay, so there used to be, I know that they're watching movies, you hear about the men's club. There are some that they go to see naked women. There are some men's clubs where they go to sit down and talk to men. They get their play games, talk politics, and some younger people are usually allowed in after a while to see how men ought to be, how gentlemen's club, how they ought to behave and all. But the truth is, there's no place to, so to speak, where men can go to get mentorship. There is no place that I know of. Okay, to the best of my knowledge, there's no place where men can go to get mentorship.
But there are a lot of places where men can go.
There's a lot of places where men can go. A lot of places
where women can go.
There are a lot of places where women can go. Oh, hold on. What am I even saying? You have things like in Lagos or in Nigeria, you have things like WIMBIZ, women in business.
Yeah.
There's another one that I was invited to at one time to speak. I think it was 2 years ago. It was a women's group, leading women's. What's the name of that group? Leading women's, but something leading women's. Women have all of these groups here and there. And the funny thing is, when I got there for that leading women's group, I saw that some of them, their husbands came. Their husbands were supporting them. Go ahead, do this. It's good. Yes. But the men had the, you know why? Because we have this thing about us. No, I don't need any man. I don't need any man. I'm a man. I know well. Because that is the example we have seen. That is the example we have seen. I don't need any man. Okay, recently we had 21 days of conversations for men. The first one. And we're going to have it again in April, but it won't be 21 days, he said. But the truth is this, for that 21 days, we had men come and go. On the average, we had like 22 men every day for 21 days.
I just want to jump in real quick. I just want to thank you for what you did, 21 days, showing up. You know, I know it would have been draining for you to show up on Instagram, you know, but I learned quite a bit, you know. And that's what even drew me to you to come and speak on, you know, leadership and men, because I was looking for someone that could speak to this. And there were some nuggets that you know. And so when we do these things, sometimes we think it's just, you know, accidental. But, you know, even as we are speaking right now, there are people listening all over the world, that some people are going to be listening in the podcast, you know, and also in the replay. Because we sometimes we just overlook these things and think that men will just become men and become successful. Most of the men that suffer moral failure is because of lack of mentorship. You know, how do I even relate with the opposite sex? You know, I mean, I don't want to begin to drop names now because this is a very professional gathering, but I mean, men that have gotten to the peak of their careers all of a sudden, just one slip. So I want you to speak to that, please. Yeah.
Again, the examples that men have are far and in between. There are very few. And it takes one who feels like, I'm tired of this point. John Maxwell will say, proof of desire is that you need to be angry with where you are. You need to move. You need to get tired of where you are and look for something better. You get it. I was saying that about the fact that in that 21 days we had those conversations, we had men come. I wasn't the only one speaking, but we had men come to talk about the things that were, share things with us. And and in all of those days, there were moments where men were vulnerable. And did that change their masculinity? No, it actually makes you a better person. There may not be a place where men can go for mentorship, but there are men you look up to and you can, from a distance, actually say, I want to be like this person. And begin to tailor or channel yourself in that direction. Or you can actually reach out to them and say, hey, see where I am. I want to be vulnerable to you. See where I am. I need your help. Help me be better. And in doing that, you're not doing that to be a burden to this person. You're doing that because you're wanting help. You're wanting to be better. Am I complete? No. Hey, I am looking for, in fact, there are men in my life that today, I was supposed to go and meet with one, but then I remembered this meeting and I had to cancel that. I had to call to say, please, can we shift? We reschedule to tomorrow. But see this thing. If we do not move, if we do not make any difference, you will only give birth to you. But if you choose to be better, you will give birth to a better you. Because I may not, all that I am learning now is so that I can teach my son.
Point.
I can pass it on to my son. So he's seeing me do things and he's wondering, Daddy, why would you do that? And I say, well, this, at the end of the day, it will be better for us if we do it this way. If we go the way you were going, we will not hit the mark. But sometimes I hear him say, I want to be with my daddy. So I come back and I say, I want to go out. and I say, I'm going out with my son. His sisters go like, why are you always going out with your son? I say, well, he's the only man in the house for now. So I want to spend time with my son. But I do spend time with all my children. I make out time for all of them.
I just want to share a story, I was speaking to one of my friends recently, and he said that a friend of his whose wife was abroad with the children went visiting. And as he got there, he saw his son, and he hadn't seen him for a while. And they went for a basketball, coaching session. And so his son found it very difficult to even, sit around his dad. And, anytime he saw his basketball coach, he'd run towards him and hug him. And he said, he sat down and said, what has gone wrong? For his son to find it more convenient to be around this basketball coach, and him being the dad, the connection has been broken. Do you know what the guy did? He quit his job and he had to relocate to where his family was. And he said, look, this is like a crisis moment, that if he doesn't redeem this situation, in the future, it's going to be even huge in terms of...
I have a friend here who quit, the senior manager in a bank, quit his job to go and be with his family. He has 3 boys. It was like, I need to be there for those boys. And he went there, and guess what? He went back to school, so that as they are coming back from school, all of them, they sit down, they are studying together, and he and his sons are connecting again.
Wow.
There is something about men. Men, especially boys, like to hang out with men, like to hang out with their fathers. And if the father is not there, something is... Sometimes the father is there but not there. We need to be deliberate. I chose that word carefully. We need to be deliberate. Make out time to be with your son. Go for a haircut. Go for a walk together. Just 2 of you sit down. Whatever it is you're doing together, both of you. Let him know. Let them know, that's your sons or the men around you. Let them know you are there for them. Let them know they can come to you. Let them know they can be vulnerable to you. Let them know they can talk to you. So there was something that happened in the house, and my son was sulking. So I was here in Abuja, they're in Lagos. So I said, I do video call with them. I said, what happened? Everybody, he did this, he did that. I said, okay, give him the phone. So they gave him the phone. He came to them. What happened? They were laughing at me.
Why?
Seriously? They were laughing at you, and so you lashed out. Ooh, okay. So was it right that you lashed out? No. But why were they laughing at me? Okay, sorry. They will not laugh at you again. But why were they laughing? What did you do that they were laughing at you? He tried to do something and did not succeed. And they were laughing. I said, okay. But you see, I now told him about the discovery of the electric bulb. A man tried 1,000 times and failed. But the 1,001st time, he got it, right? That's the story. You know about it. Yes. So how many times did you try to do that thing? Twice. Just twice. And then you're sulking? Come on. Okay, are you going to try again? I said, okay, do you know how many times I tried? You remember that game on my laptop? Yes, I did. Do you know how many times I tried? No, I said, I tried it 5 times and I failed. And many times I try and I failed. I leave it and I go back. After a couple of days, I come back and I try again and it works. Oh, is that so? I said, yes. I tried several times and it works. Oh, I said, okay, now see what you're going to do. Go back. Don't play the game again today. Give it like 2 days. Come back and play it again. And that was it. He hasn't come back to say he has failed anymore. Nobody's laughing at him anymore because he's found out that he could talk to his father. Unless we make out time for these men, these small men. Let's make out the time that we did not get. We did not get time. We did not have anyone spending time with us or taking our time for us. I honestly speaking, I thank God for the men in my life. I thank God for Pastor David Ogbeli, Pastor Dubusa Chifosi. I thank God for Dr. John Momo. I thank God for all the men in my life, Obi Nauma, Emeka Ngumadu, men in my life that were ahead of me, Ubi Egbe, Usani. These are men, these are some of the men that were in my life that I gleaned off from. Honestly, Bishop Edohasim in Church of God Mission, or Pastor Aye, Felix Aye, I don't know where he is right now, but these are some of the men you could see. And you could see that there are some qualities you could pull from these men. I mean, I could see Bishop Aye, Dr. Pastor Felix Aye, at that time, he and his wife are coming to church. They are coming in two different cars because they have, so some of the children, the boys ride with their dad, the girls ride with their mom. And so he waits for his wife to go ahead of him. So I'm like, okay, this is the way to go. At that time, I wasn't married. But I picked that up years ago, 1992 to be precise. I picked that up. Imagine that I didn't see that. I mean, my dad didn't have a car. Well, no, my dad died when I was 3. So there was really no car. There was no way I could see that kind of example. But I see them like, okay. So I asked him one day, how is it that you're riding? Why are you not going ahead to open? Say, no, I need to be sure everything is okay with them. So I ride behind. I said,
Wow.
So we can glean some of these things off some of these people around us.
Wow.
And the truth is, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that God has a purpose and a plan for everything that happens in our lives. The people he allows to come into our lives, there is a purpose. If we can only connect, we will see that purpose if we can only connect. And it will take determination to do that.
Wow, amazing. We've been on for about almost 44 minutes with it. My friend is just unpacking, dropping massive nuggets tonight. Neo Tahiti, the man that I call a good man. A good man. I don't use what.
I'm still learning, Goku. I'm still growing.
You're trying to be humble. You're a good man. As we begin to move closer to the end of this session, I just have 2 more questions for you. Now, how can the culture of leadership, be, mentorship, be built around, men? How can, we put that, into place for men?
I used the word earlier, deliberate, when I talked about being with our sons, being with our children, or being with the men around us.
Yeah.
To pass on the culture of leadership, again, we have to be deliberate. We have to take certain steps. So I'm in this office, and there's a young man I met there. I took him under my wings. But I brought him close, and I'm letting him see things, and I'm giving him room to ask questions. Say, ask questions. I give instructions, you get it done. Ask questions. Sir, why did you do this? Why didn't we go this way? Because he's used to doing things in a certain way. Now he's seeing another way of doing things. So I tell him, ask questions. I will answer you.
Wow.
We need to be deliberate. We need to look out around us and be different from what we saw. From what we had in our lives, we need to be different.
Wow.
You need to do different from what was done to you. Okay, sorry, not different. You need to do better than what was done to you, to the generation around you, to the men around you. You need to do better. So I told someone, I said, this April, we're going to have a breakfast meeting for men in Abuja. And the person like, wow, how are we going to? I said, no, that's not the problem. I called a friend of ours, a colleague of ours, and I said, can we use your place in Abuja? I said, sure, I'm available. Please use my place. I said, okay, when we come to Lagos, can we use your place in Lagos? Yeah, sure. Just let me know. Give me a heads up. Hello. Imagine that I did not say, we want to do this. Would he be willing to say, okay, you can use my place?
Wow.
If we are more deliberate about how we want to reach out, how we want to help, things will be different. We need to understand that the fact that nobody helped us doesn't mean we shouldn't help others. The fact that nobody was there for us should even drive us more into helping others. It should drive us more into being there for others, because nobody was there for us, so that our society can be better. Okay, so in the political sphere, we say our political system is messed up. The politicians, they don't know any better. They haven't seen any better. What they've seen is what they are doing, just what they are following. And so they've seen that this is how it is, and so they're just going along with it, because that's what they've seen others do. They've seen others come in, and so they want to go along with it. The question is, years down the line, when you look back, would you be looking to say, I am sorry? Or would you be looking to say, we did well?
Wow.
That's the question you should ask yourself.
So what's going to be?
If I walk away from here, there's a song we used to sing that we will be remembered only by what we have done. It's a hymn. Only remembered by what we have done. What will you be remembered for?
Wow.
How many lives would you be remembered for impacting?
Wow.
How many men would you be remembered for nurturing to the point where they are successful? Hello, please don't get me wrong. I may be wrong, and I stand to be corrected. I am of the view that character is the greatest wealth. I mean, I do remember my dad's statement, a good name is better than all the riches in the world. Character. You see, your wealth, your ideas, your business acumen can only get you so far. But what keeps you there is character.
Yeah.
Are you a person of character? Wow. Are you a person of integrity? Are you a man of your word? Are you one who will say this and it is? We have to be deliberate, Goke.
Wow.
Every one of us.
Intentional leadership. Wow.
Okay. Another word.
Thank you so much. I've been speaking with my friend and my brother, Neo Tahiti, speaking on leadership and men. It's been a power-packed session. And we now have the last question. Now, who are your mentors? Who are your mentors?
You want to put me in trouble. You want to put me in trouble. It was my pastor, who happens to be one of the mentors, who said this. Pastor David Ogweri said this. He said, you can only have one father, but you can have many mentors. And the truth is, you can have many people teaching you one thing. The most important thing is that you are a better person at the end of the day. I have many.
Wow.
There are many mentors. I just mentioned one of them. Dr. John Momo is another person. Reverend Dubusa Chifusi is another person. I have many mentors. John Maxwell, I had read almost as at 2003. I think I had read almost all the John Maxwell books I could find.
Wow.
Failing Forward, Talent is Not Enough, the 3-6. I had read all of those books and I was like, where is this man? How do you understand? So some of these things help me. I mentioned a couple of those people. Pastor Felix Aye, Bishop Edo Hassan, Bro Emmanuel Obinwa, my brother-in-law. These are some of the people that helps from a distance. Do you get? From a distance. I came close when I joined Dominion City. I came close to Dr. David Ogweri, Reverend Dubusa Chifusi. When I joined Channels TV, I came close to John Momo. But before then, John Momo was mentoring me from NTA News at 9 without knowing it. But these are some of the people I looked up to and I was like, ooh. And then when I came close, I see John Momo, perfect gentleman.
Wow.
Perfect. He dotes on his wife. And if you see the way he dotes on his children, come on. I'm like, what? No way. That there are people like this. What? No. So these are just a few of them.
Wow.
But I also have friends, my contemporaries, that I draw from.
Wow.
Besides mentors, I have accountability partners. I mentioned one of them, Obi Nauma. I have people that I say, hold me accountable, Ken Emeana. I have people, Steve Onachuku. These are my accountability partners. So if I'm going south, my wife has the permission to, hello, Steve, your friend is going south. And say, where are you? If something they worry you, my friend Kumada. So it's one thing to have mentors. It's another thing to have accountability partners. Amazing. Where I work, we are 5 of us in my unit. And I called all the 4 of them. I said, hello, guys. I don't care whether you people give me permission or not, but I give you permission to hold me accountable. So, and because they know. So I'll be straight up. So yesterday, being Friday, we finished work and I was like, I want to go out. So they were like, where do you want to go? I said, I want to go to a club. One of them looked at me and said, you go to a club. Okay, I'll catch you. Because he knows I don't go club. So he was like, you I should take it to say, don't even think of it. I can take this one, I can take that one, I can take that one. Well, you.
Yeah.
Clear. It can only be that way because you've given them permission to hold you accountable. Yeah.
Wow. So on this note, we just want to thank my brother, my friend Neo Tahiti for making himself available. You've dropped so many nuggets tonight, and I'm sure that those who are also on the platform, if you want to say thank you to Neota, please feel free to drop in the comment section. On behalf of myself and the team, Leadership Talk with Adegoke, it's been amazing being with you tonight. And I trust that, we'll still have the opportunity to call upon you in the future. But what we've shared tonight it's timeless. So on this note, thank you everyone for joining. And so we'll be.
Oh, someone's asking when is the breakfast meeting in Abuja? It's it's likely going to be around. Let me just give me a minute here. I'll have to get back to you on that. But we're looking at before the 18th, around the second or third, around the second week in April. That's when. So maybe around one of those Saturdays, maybe 24th, if we're around, or either 24th. Yeah, but you get to know about it.
Okay, amazing. I'm sure that Kenechukwu Agaba, you'll be able to connect with Neota. If you don't have his number, please feel free to reach out to me, and I'll share his contact with you. So thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.